All right, welcome to All Seats Considered, official Cinatreats podcast, where we, the common man, talk about the fantastic. Like literally anything that you want to talk about, we're going to talk about. And even if you don't want us to, we're going to still do it anyway. Today, we're going to be talking about the Silmarillion, specifically why it shouldn't be made into a movie. Now, this one's been in kind of production hell for a really long time, and now they're talking about like an actual series that's going to be really expensive and everything like that. However, it's the Silmarillion, and the Silmarillion is...
Well, it's not exactly the Silmarillion. So what it will probably be is like the fall of Numenor, which is technically covered in the Silmarillion. It's kind of like a 40-page footnote at the end of the book.
You know, I need to build up that Lord of the Rings thing.
So like what we know with production right now, right? It will be on Amazon. They bought the rights for like $250 million or something like that. Big money here. They are currently filming in New Zealand.
Of course.
Right.
Right. At least that's a good sign.
Yes.
It's got to be in New Zealand. It has to be in Middle Earth.
Right. It has been signed on for 5 seasons.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Well, how long are episodes and, like, how many episodes?
Great question.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Like, we're super early, so who knows?
Right. And we're in the streaming digital age, right? Show episodes don't even need to fit this kind of 42.5-minute format.
Okay, put this into perspective for you guys. The Silmarillion is kind of like Tolkien Bible. So they're taking an story.
To be fair, it's a big story. Like, there's a lot. It covers, like... Okay. If you go from, like, the beginning of Numenor and, like, when the Valar raise up the island and you give it to man, more or less, it goes for, like, 2,500, like, 2,500 years or something like that. Like, it spans a long time as far as, like, the rise, and, like, from the beginning to the end of Numenor. Even, like, the fall of Numenor, quote-unquote, depending on exactly when they want to start it, because, like, there were kings... And I forget all their names, and they have very complicated names.
It's Tolkien.
Yes. And, like, there were kings who were already, like, publicly decrying the Valar and even Eru Iluvatar well before Sauron even shows up. And Sauron himself was on Numenor as a captive / eventual advisor to the king for, like, 50, 60 years. So, like, there is a lot of potential time here. The real question is, does it really need to be on screen? And if so, could it actually last 5 seasons?
Yes it could. Game of Thrones exists.
Okay.
I just realized something.
Mm.
We would actually see, like, a physical form of Sauron outside of, like, the big armor thing. We would actually see, like, a body. Even though he's, like, putting on a disguise, we would actually see him.
Yes, we would get to see the beautiful, pretty boy Sauron, who took a beautiful form to deceive the King of Numenor.
But I think it's funny because people still describe him as having like a weird intensity and not liking his eyes. I remember I've read like bits and pieces of Silmarillion. I haven't read the whole thing.
Yeah, like there are like, depending on when he's describing Sauron, there's like a lot of different kind of description.
He's very old.
Yes, he is very old. He's been around for all of time.
I'm going to say it's like pretty much the beginning, right? It was like...
pretty much.
You're going to change, especially when you're falling down into, well, Sauron.
Right. Darkness and madness and all those things.
Being all evil.
Yes.
Yeah, so they can really take a lot of places.
Ridiculous pseudonym.
Sure. I don't necessarily think that they should.
I don't think that the Silmarillion should be touched at all. It's beautiful as a book, but it's also Tolkien, so... You take someone who's a historian, and he's writing his own Bible.
I mean, it's less that he was writing his own Bible, and more like he was writing basically a collection of stories.
I say Bible because it covers from the beginning to blah.
It gives us our creation myth.
Yes.
Except this time it's not a myth, and it's like a immutable fact.
As far as like Middle Earth is concerned.
Yeah.
Yes.
So really, it'd be more like you could do like anthologies because there's tons of different stories.
Yeah, I think. What I would rather see is like a mini series of sorts, and that this way, like you could cover different stories from all across, the Silmarillion and the Unfinished Tales and all of these collections of works without having to keep to some unifying story or even really any sort of like common character between all of things. And even then, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there is what is it? Is it Ale in the Cottage of Lost Play? I need to double check this real quick.
Tying into the YouTube channel for this month, Good Omens is a good example of taking a book, making it a mini-series. You do the important stuff, trim the fat, and then just leave everything else alone. And if you want to go a little further back, Stephen King, Creepshow?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, they made a Creepshow TV show?
No, but the idea of Creepshow.
Oh, you mean just like the horror anthology?
Yes, but like pop that into like little segments on his show. What?
All right, let's go back. I am not a Stephen King reader. Can you explain what that is?
Oh, Creepshow was just like a project that Stephen King did with was it Jordan Romero? I'm trying to remember. The problem is I have two big Romeros in my life. I got like Dawn of the Dead director Romero, and then I got John Romero for Doom. And I think about them both interchangeably depending on how my day is going. Anyway, they were doing a tribute or just I guess like a representation of like the EC comics that they used to read when they were children. So like Tales from the Crypt and this other. That's like the most important one. There's more, and I can see them in my brain, but my stupid brain can't decipher the words.
Tales from the Crypt is like perfect.
It's great.
Example of like what it is.
That's what they did. They like worked together, and Stephen King I think co-wrote it with him, and he actually stars in it, which is yeah, he plays a dumb hillbilly. It's great. No, I mean, he really is just like, he's got the overalls and everything.
Yeah, the overall plaid, just... I'm moving my arms up and down like a hillbilly.
Yeah, we're not on camera
I know we're not on camera right now, that's why it's...
And then
like
they broke it up.
that, but like pop it into episodes. Like just like... Instead
yeah,
of
just
being
like, just like kind of smaller, like hour, maybe hour and a half long depictions of these kind of very short stories.
Yeah, and keep it like... maybe a season, 2 seasons.
Yeah,
like,
not 5.
Again, don't Hobbit on us.
Please don't.
Oh, no.
Don't Hobbit on us.
And like earlier you brought up Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones outlasted its welcome. By the end of the series, like, even the most hardcore fans of...
So done.
Right, just completely over the whole thing.
So done. Like, I washed my hands, and the ending wasn't satisfying to boot.
True.
So you can't even stick the landing on something that people are going,
Endings really do like determine, like it changes your whole view of the series because then it's like the disappointing thing, right?
Yep.
You immediately it changes everything. Granted, though, they did continue past where the book was, so they're kind of just
I mean, they were just making crap.
What do you call that? It's like trailblazing. There you go. They're like trailblazing, like a new frontier. It's like, well, we get to decide where the characters are going now, so let's do it.
And everyone hated it.
Everyone's watching anime before. You know what happens.
Yeah, you get, and then it's just basically professionals fanficting because they get paid.
Yeah.
And we all know how that works on the internet. It's going to be complete garbage or really good. But there's no in between, and it's very few and far apart. Again, going back to the Good Omens, short, to the point, don't waste time.
Yeah.
Just do the good stuff and get out with it. Like, people have a problem with things ending. It's okay to let things end.
It's better if things end.
Yes.
Sorry, ever since Jack let go, I can't. I'm too in my feelings. I'm greedy. I want more. Damn it! Like even if it's like terrible, like I kept watching.
I mean, but that's it's okay to want more, but sometimes you should just stop.
You gotta push it away. Just get up and walk away from the table, you know?
Because if you keep going, especially on the production side of it, you could end up just like ruining the thing that everybody really liked in the first place. And it's better to stop when it's good than continue going and ruining it, because if you start an experience and you end an experience well, you don't care what happens in the middle. That's just how human brains work. So if you stick the middle, but it's got a sucky beginning and a sucky ending...
Everyone either hates it or they just don't care. Which is unfortunate. Like, you could have the most amazing thing, in episode 5, but if your first episode is trash and your last episode is trash, then nobody remembers it.
I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to bring up the ultimate case I can think of this. It's called Star Trek The Next Generation. I distinctly remember the first 2 seasons really, really sucking. Like, more than I would I care to admit. Like, I was disappointed, and I was like 12. Like, I didn't have a lot to go off. I watched the old Star Trek. That was my bread and butter. I mean, it's just bad. There's there's a couple good episodes, like the one we. I don't want to spoil that one. It's
It's Star Trek. It's okay to spoil
it's
Star
one of the
Trek.
good episodes.
If you haven't watched Star Trek by now, why are you listening to this?
But we can all agree, the first, two, I think it picked... When did Riker grow to be? Was it in the middle of Season 3? Or was it at the start of Season 3?
I know it was somewhere around... It's been a long time.
It was too soon.
It was the birth of Lady Killer Riker. I mean, he was already... Yeah, they told us he could do it. I didn't believe them. But I saw the beard and I'm like, I know he can.
It was too soon. It's kind of like BJ and MASH, where he didn't have the mustache for 2 seasons, and then Alan Aldo's like, you should have a mustache forever. And I kind of missed clean-shaven BJ every once in a while, but it's kind of the same thing where I felt that way with that, and I don't
know if I count them as a podcast, but I watch a lot of Red Letter Media, and they love Star Trek to death, and they were talking about, actually, Season 1, that's what reminded me of it, immediately. There was a lot of things that went on that caused the first 2 seasons to suck a lot. It's partially Gene Roddenberry having an iron death grip over the whole scripting process because he got cut out of the movies or something. And then the crew hated the actors hated the crew, the staff services hated the crew. I'll bring it back to the point. I wouldn't mind if they did something a little weird with the Silmarillion, because there's characters that we do know. And I'm not saying do the whole Silmarillion. I would kind of interested in the Numenor thing. I think that'd be something important that people would dig, right? If you want them to get to see it. There's a lot of faces that we recognize, and even if they're not in there all the time, you could tie them and weave the line.
I know, and that's exactly why I think that they're going this route in the first place. We have characters like Sauron that people at least recognize the name. They're going to look at some blonde pretty boy, probably.
I hope he's not blonde.
And almost every single fan depiction I've ever really seen him in, he's always this blonde, blue-eyed, gorgeous pretty boy.
I can show you immediately 5 pictures where he's not.
That's good.
Just because you can doesn't mean he's wrong. Because I've also seen a bleed ton of the blonde hair.
My point is...
Why did I only censor myself?
I am a fangirl. And I have mostly no shame. Sometimes I have more shame.
Is it the Raven locks? I like the Raven locks.
And getting to see him as the, silver-tongued manipulator is going to be refreshing. Again, absolutely silliest armor I've ever seen in a fantasy. Anything except for Diablo.
Okay.
But it's cool, though.
But it is really cool. And you can't,
But if you go backwards to what he...
But he's going to turn into it, though, because after he gets, caught, he's just like...
Yeah, no, because he's there. He's there when the gods drag down the island of Numenor. And, he spirits himself away and, leaves behind his physical form, more or less.
Yeah, and then, the next
permanently loses the ability to shapeshift in the first place.
Yeah, that's something... Oh, God, how would you tell people that? It's did you know he also was a werewolf and a vampire? By the way, those are in Middle-earth, too, if you didn't know. And, all the Tolkien nerds are just clamoring, what about, the barrel light or whatever? Where was that? Because that has something to do with...
I think it has potential.
Oh, God. If you bring that up, they're going to bring it up. They're going to be wait a minute, there's wraith-killing weapons in the Lord of the Rings?
No shit.
Well, it's you gotta remember, a lot of people just watch the movies, right?
Yeah, most people just watch
I'm only
the movies. And not even the extended cuts of the movies.
Bastards.
Son of a bitch.
Two Towers is easily my favorite now. Everyone can fight me on it.
I think it's absolutely the best.
Extended edition is just mwah, it's like chef's kiss. Yeah. It's like Peter Jackson hugged me through a screen.
And even the books, Two Towers is I think is just actually the best book of the trilogy.
It's kind of similar to how you feel that The Empire Strikes Back is.
Look, Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars film.
I'm not 100%.
I'm not arguing you on this one. No one at the table is doing that. It's It's because it's the middle. It's solid. It you don't have to deal with weird fiddly bits in the beginning. Meh, Frodo. And you don't have to deal with the weird fiddly bits at the end. Aragorn. And you got the middle. It's good. It's solid.
Yes.
Legolas hasn't just totally made you go, why the fuck doesn't Legolas do everything yet?
Easily a perfect sequel. We can talk about those later, down the line. 'Cause, God, we could dig into it. If Empire Strikes Back was a beach, it'd be a damn island.
Yeah.
It's glorious. It does so much. And we're not gonna do it.
We can
Look, save it for May. Save it for May.
Star Wars month is in May.
As soon as you said May, I just popped that up. Just live long and prosper, bro.
It's the wrong series.
Oh my gosh, I love Star Wars so much. Live long
actually-
and prosper.
Actually, I'll tell you what I don't want them to do. And some people would fight me on this, and I imagine a lot. I do not want to see, I don't know how to say it. Is it a Lauren? Gandalf before he was Gandalf, right? I don't want to see that. I want nothing of it. I just want my old man Ian McKellen.
I forgot what his Valar name is.
It is like a Lauren or something like that.
Probably.
I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Find Stephen Colbert. He knows how to say it.
Oh my gosh, have you seen him dressed up as an elf?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love it so much. I die for that. Yeah, I know. I die for it. Oh.
It was hysterical because Topher Grace is notorious for doing film edits, and because Stephen Colbert got to be in The Hobbit as a spy master of Lake Town or whatever.
Yeah.
And Topher Grace just bold-faced told him, "Yeah, I cut you out of the movie."
Oh,
I know,
that's mean. Damn.
Even if I did an edit of it, I'd leave Steven in there. Come on.
Sure. Are you kidding?
You're correct, by the way.
If I remember correctly,
it is.
he has shamed actual actors and producers on Knowledge.
Yes.
Public television.
Because he's a huge
He's
nerd.
a huge nerd. He's a huge nerd. Don't do that. Don't do that when you have somebody who knows what they're talking about. Which we're talking about the Silmarillion, and if you know what that is, chances are you know what you're talking about. Don't try and fact check with them.
Oh no, but
that's dirty. That
is mean.
Low blow.
But I don't want to see it. I don't want to see young.
No.
I don't want none of it.
No.
I don't care what. I don't even. Oh God. If they did try to adapt the whole thing, we'd have to see the creation of the universe, right?
Yes.
I don't want to see that either because my brain does it better. That's the problem.
Oh yeah. No, every single one of these stories, your brain will do 1,000 times better than what they could possibly put on screen.
But then it's I don't want to say you can't do it because a lot of things you couldn't do, but then they did it.
But then they turned around and did it.
That's what this month is talking about is book adaptations. It's difficult to put one medium from paper to visual because paper has time to describe and weave and get your imagination going, and no two people can read the same book because your imagination is not going to be the same as that other person. Whereas when you are presented with a movie, you don't have a whole lot of imagination. It's there. And you're going to get that group of people's interpretation because they sold it best.
Yeah.
And with something like this, as it is an anthology type collection, that's why I think it doesn't work at all. Because it works better in your head, in your brain, that when you are reading it, you're imagining it, especially when you're doing something like trying to fathom creation and beings that have no form and stuff like that. Yeah. The song, capital T, capital S. Putting that into a visual medium is most likely going to be disappointing. Super hardcore disappointing. Because it's never meant to be, there. Going back to Stephen King, because he's really good to have the Langoliers. If you read the Langoliers in your head, scary as shit. If you watch the Langoliers,
they're just funny poop mouths.
And a Sky Gina.
I gotta figure out which collection of because there's a short story, right? Or is the Langoliers a full book?
It should be one of his full books.
Because I haven't actually read it. I've read a lot of Stephen King, but I tapped out.
I've read. It's hard to keep track of them all.
Yeah, it was Blake's deep brain.
You
Actually, he
can-
formed a lot of my early prose. Funny, we were just talking about like how you couldn't do it, and as we were sitting here about the song, I thought of a way you could do it.
Okay.
It was it's something that would cost not as a lot of money, but it'd be a lot more time than I think they'd want to do, and I think they'd want to cheap out on it. Did you know how they used to make clouds in old movies with a cloud tank?
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is multiple pieces coming together in my brain that have formed this idea. Have you seen the opening to Fantasia?
Oh my gosh, I was just thinking that we're gonna get some Walt Disney Fantasia.
Sorry, I was looking up the Langoliers. Did I miss something?
The song. Because
How do
we were
you do the
talking
song?
about how
Okay.
how it'd be like your brain could always do it better, and I was like, how would you do it? And I was like, well, you would cheat, right? You wouldn't, because your brain always fills in the details better, so you don't show them something exclusively. So I was thinking the opening of Fantasia. It's like, it's music, but then you can represent different ideas with colors.
Yeah.
And use the cloud tanks to like let them bloom forth and spread out in a match, and as different pieces join in, the colors change. They swirl around. The throaty your voices come in. You could totally do it. It'd be mostly black. It would just.
This
it'd
is
be
beautiful in my head.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
They'd mess it up somehow.
That's the only
And
way.
by
I
somehow,
thought
I
of
mean
doing
they make it CG. Because for me, what really works, it would be the practical,
the craftsmanship.
Yeah. Like, you're literally making the universe. At least make it feel like you're making the universe.
Instead of just rendering the universe?
Yes. I know technically you have to make that stuff, because computer programs, and I'm not nagging on, like, CG and anything like that.
Right, there are a lot of talented artists.
Oh, yeah.
And all sorts of people, making some amazing, generated things.
But sometimes practical effects just speak louder.
I mean, Lord of the Rings film is a great testament to that.
Mm-hmm.
Because then we have, the juxtaposition of that being The Hobbit.
Okay, to be fair, there were a couple of things they would not have been able to do practically.
Well,
True.
It's one of those that's a nightmare because, like, they scrapped 2 years of Guillermo del Toro's pre-production, all of it, and they're like, Jackson, get in here.
Yep.
And Jackson's
he had barely
like,
any
"Ah."
time, he's just doing it. They had to make decisions.
Yes. And decisions were made.
They had to make the cold, hard decisions to do things. And then the studio was like, I want to make decisions too.
Whenever that happens.
And then the New Zealand government was like, you're
Hey.
screwing our actors over. We need to make some decisions about that.
Just a lot of decisions were made. And they were not always the good ones.
No.
Whenever you have a movie that is prefaced with was in production hell, chances are it's gonna suffer really hard. I can't think of a whole bunch of them off the top of my head that actually, like, kind of sort of succeeded. I suppose the one that I can think of, because I was working on Stephen King Month, would be the Pet Sematary remake. Nobody wanted to pick it up because how the fuck do you remake that movie?
Right.
And, nobody wants to touch kids. I don't.
You give me the thing I want. You give me the Wendigo, and you don't bullshit me about it.
Ooh!
That thing scared
Ooh,
me from a young age.
this gives me a chance. Everyone, there's going to be an actual Wendigo movie later this year. It's called Antlers. Go check out the trailer.
Okay,
It
so
looks
We're
mwah.
doing the new Wendigo then.
If you like that lore at all, it is worth at least checking it out, because I don't know why I'm a huge Wendigo fan, but I am a huge Wendigo fan, and I didn't go into it knowing that it was going to be the Wendigo. So I just lit Antlers, that's a stupid name, and I clicked on it.
They made a movie called Horns.
It's Teeth,
Feet.
Actually,
Teeth already exists. It's about
that's, yes.
Yeah.
That,
vaginal or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, that was tough to watch.
Let's not get
That
on
is
that
certainly
subject, please.
So, I'm like, okay, that's a stupid title. And then like, it pans over this, lake, and then there's trees. I'm like, And then there starts to be, like, cannibals, and you start seeing, like, this deer thing, and I'm like,
So what you're saying is, to get you excited, I just need a lake and cannibals.
Yep.
Okay.
Dude,
Like
the witch is just
cannibals.
perfectly creepy. I mean, us, right now, Find the woods, give me a camera, give me a stabilizer, and very little to work with, and you can scare the hell out of people.
I know. Again, Slender Man. What the hell?
Although I will say, like, technically, the Wendigo's not supposed to have antlers. It's like a modern thing, but I know. But the antlers are cooler.
You're really gonna be a Wendigo purist right now.
I just know people are going to say it, so I might as well just bring it up. I'm just like, hey, look, I acknowledge it's a thing. It's just the antlers are way more intimidating. Although, if you did see a, like, 7-foot tall, naked person with, like, strong, drawn-out limbs or sharp claws, and your teeth are, like, your lips are ripped open, and you just have, like, your nasty teeth sticking out there and sunken in eyeballs, that would be creepy.
Oh, for sure.
But antlers are just cool.
Really?
What?
I didn't think that was the more common known form.
That's like, there's a bunch of them, actually, because there's...
well, yes.
Because there's different ways to say Wendigo, too. It's like, Wendigo, and something like that, and some are, like, super tall, as tall as trees. There's, like, a super hairy, abominable one.
Yeah.
But that gets in, that actually gets closer into the Bigfoot that the Native American people have.
I usually think more middle ground Native American, where it is large, but it's got a head of the deer, its body is emaciated, and it's rotting, and it looks humanish, like it's obviously not a deer body doing this thing, because it's walking on, and stuff like jam.
Ooh, they could get, like, some jittery movement like a bug.
I know, just
hate
like...
that shit. I love it, though.
That's what I thought most people knew. Apparently not. I learned something today, and you should always learn at least one thing a day.
Well, that's just because I, like, heavily researched it, because it, like, actually scared the hell out of me as a kid when I read Pet Sematary in, like, 7th grade. There was something about it, like the idea that it was just in their woods, in their backyard, right there, and was talking to him, and, just kind of floating around. There's something about a thing being there, but not showing itself to you. Mm. But it's letting you know it's there.
Yep.
And you do see it. I do remember, because there's, like, a description of the face. It has, like, ram horns, got black veins and teeth and stuff like that. And it scared the shit out of me. And because when I used to visit my friend, I had a hard time sleeping at night because they live out in the boonies. And I would always stand up in the middle of the night and look out on their porch, and I could just see the tree line. And I was just waiting for something just to be standing right amongst the trees, but it was never there.
I had the same problem with dinosaurs.
What? Okay, mine's a little irrational.
We'll get into this. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I was way too young to be watching Jurassic Park. Okay, and my dad thought it was hilarious. We had the big movie in-home movie theater system with the speakers in the back. It's got the lights off. I'm sitting there with our big screen TV, like they were back in the day with the tube. And I'm just sitting there, and most of the movie's okay. And then Rexy shows up, and I'm not okay. And then the raptors show up, and I'm scarred for life. Because they can open doors, they're really smart, they eat multiple people. How many people does Rexy eat? Like, honestly.
Gets Gennaro, fucks up Malcolm. Oh, wait, it's the movie.
Eat movie. In the movie.
Gennaro, he kills Gennaro, and I think it eats him.
Yeah.
Just messes up Malcolm. I don't think it actually kills another person. It gets like a Gallimimus or something.
The raptors kill...
They kill...
technically 3 people.
What was his name? It's Sam Jackson. Oh my god. I had it in my brain.
Well, I suppose I can't count the last one because they were just grievously injured. They totally died.
Totally died.
Okay, so yeah, and dinosaurs will never... But that's a mythological creature, and it won't ever exist either. Mine did at one point.
I'm about to bring this right back around the Lord of the Rings. We were, like, when I was growing up, super into, like, Lord of the Rings when it came out. I didn't see The Fellowship when it was in theaters because I think I was a little too young, but I'd already seen The Hobbit, 76,
Yeah.
Loved it.
No, gotta say that a little louder so people go...
I'm pretty sure it's either 76 or 77. I get those confused really... It's from the 70s.
I mean, I know that they're not quite as niche as they used to be, but believe it or not, there were other movies.
I love them. I'd seen them both, and my sister loved Orlando Bloom. I would dare say a creepy amount. So when I think it was Return of the King came out, they had like all the stand-ins of like the cast in our movie theater, and they were throwing them out like a month or so later. She asked him.
She just
first.
took Orlando Bloom.
She took the legless one. So we had a cutout, like a life-size cutout of Orlando Bloom in full Legolas gear, just chilling in the house, and it was in her room. And what would happen is she leaves her door open all the time. So you walk up this. Okay, I gotta give you the geometry. It's crucial. It's the only way to explain this.
All right, I'm gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna form this image in my head. Go ahead.
Okay, so you have to walk up a flight of stairs. When you get to the top of the stairs, there's a little bit of a landing, and it's an awkward shape. But her door is at the far end of the hall, and the light switch is at the top of the stairs of the landing, which means you can't actually see her room at the end of the hall when you're at the top of the landing because it's too dark. So what happens is when you flip the light on, it lights up all the way down the hall, and you can just see Orlando Bloom standing in the doorway looking at you. And you'd think you'd get used to it after a while, but you don't really expect it because it's like a human being shape in your house when you're alone and you're not expecting it.
Your primitive brain goes, ah!
Yeah, no, it's just like, oh God, Jesus Christ, what was that? You know,
Terribly sorry.
There's too many people with giant life-size cardboard cutouts to keep the room dark.
We need to stop this. It is a plague on our planet.
If you own a life-size cardboard cutout and you have deigned to leave it in your home, do not leave it in a dark room, please, for the love of God.
My point is there should be no human-sized cardboard cutouts anywhere.
Or like those actual like figures, like you see in FYE, where it's an actual like life-size plastic figure.
No.
You mean like a mannequin?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, no, just imagine a Legolas like that.
Yeah, that would just flip my uncanny valley switch on so hard.
Okay, I'm gonna go into question land.
Ooh, there's questions?
Yes.
Questions?
Ooh.
What exactly do you like out of the Silmarillion that could be better than what they're planning already?
Nothing, honestly.
That's the only part?
No, like, I honestly...
If a show has to be made.
If a show has to be made, there are basically two stories that I could see happening. And it's, right, the rise and fall of Numenor, which is what they're doing, assumedly. And maybe Fëanor and his sons. The problem with Fëanor is that you have an asshole for a main character.
That's not necessarily difficult.
We could just see Galadriel reject him.
Well... True, we would.
Just bring Kate Blanchett back for one scene. That's all I want. She's still beautiful. She can do it.
She is still gorgeous. Holy crap. But he is not a likable asshole.
That's the problem.
He's just a shithead.
Yeah.
He's just an angry shit. And his sons are all angry shits. Like, he begot 7 angry shits.
Wait a minute, I could be wrong. It's been, like I said, I haven't read the whole thing. Isn't it like 2 of his sons that ended up screwing over Luthien or something?
Yeah, probably. Like,
because I remember like there's 2's like, I want to date you, and it's like, no.
The hilarious thing is that almost everything bad that could happen in Middle Earth is usually somehow attributed and like called back to Fëanor and his sons. Outside of like Melkor / Morgoth and the whole, I'm darkness incarnate basically. But like everything in like the Second Age, more or less, is like
it's his fault.
It's his fault. He was the one that made the Silmarils in the first place.
Oh, he's that guy.
He's that guy.
Oh, so he really made this a problem.
Yes.
Damn. I didn't realize it was
that's him. He took the light of the 2 trees. He made the 3 Silmarils, and he said, hey, those are going to be mine forever. And the gods were like, hey, the king of all darkness and evil has destroyed the 2 trees. We can bring them back if you give us the Silmarils.
I actually would like to see what Ungoliant would look like.
Oh yeah, Ungoliant would be so amazing. Holy crap.
I would be really
And Fëanor basically said, no, fuck you guys. These are mine. And a couple of his sons were like, Dad, maybe this is a no. I'm going to make all 7 of you swear that these are going to stay with us for all of time. And that went poorly.
It's like, do you realize how long all of time is?
Except they're elves. They have all of time. And then they all died. Like, every single one of them died. Horrible, horrible deaths. And the Silmarils were lost forever.
Like the do.
That's the shortest version of that story.
Like you do.
Yeah,
Didn't one just
pretty
get
much.
dropped in the ocean?
Yeah, I think so. I honestly don't remember what happened to all of them.
I don't. Oh, no idea. I remember when they show up. I often don't remember what happens to them after they show up.
They change hands multiple times. There's, there's wars fought over them, and they basically do nothing. I mean, but that's more like more because of like magic in Tolkien in general just doesn't really do a lot. It's all kind of like very subtle and very quiet and that kind of thing.
It's not like,
high
magic
fantasy.
missile.
Right. And then they all get lost in forever. The end.
I think if I wanted, I think the problem is like I said, I'm very greedy, and I just want to see cool things that I've read about. Like I said, I don't actually know if I'm saying it right. I call it Ungoliant. I don't know. That's how I've heard it.
Sometimes I prefer Ungolant, but that's just me.
That's weird. Actually, I have the same thing because I've heard yours. I just like how it rolls with Ungoliant. I don't know why.
Potato, tomato.
But
I mean, there are multiple year courses you could take on the pronunciation of Tolkien languages.
I'm not even gonna bother. But like, I kind of want to see that. I kind of want to see the destruction of like the world trees, right? I kind of want to see that last fight with Morgoth. Oh, and Caligon the Black.
Yeah,
I want that. I've seen the baby Benedict Cumberbatch. Give me the Morgan Freeman. Let's go. I don't know who would voice like. You need somebody. I need some surliness to get Michael Ironside. He's still alive. His name's Michael Ironside. Come on. Or is it Ironsides? I could be. Oh man, I don't want to get his name wrong. He'll come after me.
We'll cut that part out.
Thank you.
We can cut that part out, right?
He'll
In
find
the
me.
grand British tradition, no.
He's Sam Fisher. He's coming after me.
But I think it's I really just think it's those two stories. I mean, if you wanted to do something like the Fall of Gondolin, but that's basically like kind of the same story as the Fall of Numenor, and Numenor has names that people remember.
How involved do you think the Tolkien estate is going to be?
I know from research they are very involved.
They are.
Yes.
Sometimes the estates just kind of go, we don't want to deal with it anymore. But I know that his son, in particular, has been very father's footsteps.
Yeah. Yes. I know that they are somewhat involved at the very least.
Mm-hmm. Usually, if an estate gets involved, I start feeling better about the project. Like Murder on the Orient Express.
That's a good one.
Which one? Bum, bum, bum. I'm gonna fight over it. I've seen all of them. I got opinions. The only thing I haven't done is read the book, and I have the audiobook for it, so I'm ready.
I'm not really fighting on this one. I'm just stating a fact that the estate got involved with the latest one.
Oh, okay.
It ended up being fairly good. I will... this could be a whole podcast all by itself on my feelings on it, but I'll leave it at non-argumentative, pretty good.
I don't know much about the Tolkien estate actually, outside of like Christopher Tolkien. I guess that's his son. Mm-hmm. I know he did filled out some of the unfinished tales and people didn't like it or something. Or
yeah, he was the one that kind of collected all of these notes that were like
letters and junk.
Yeah. In general, he kind of did some light editing and patchwork.
No, they didn't like that, did they?
Fans are never happy.
No, not really.
Fans are never
Especially
happy.
Tolkien fans. Like
you've created a thing I like.
Yeah.
Damn you.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
You've given me more of it and filled it out a little bit. Damn you.
Yep.
Curse the breath that bears your name.
I'd like to do 3 questions. I'm trying to think of one that we haven't actually talked about yet.
Okay, well, I've got a question. Are we going to watch this show when it comes out next year?
Yes. I am willing to give anything a go unless they do something catastrophically wrong. Yeah. And at this point, it would have to be not Lord of the Rings at all.
Yeah.
It would have to be like nothing to do with Tolkien at all for me to not at least give it a go. I have lower standards, though. This is probably going to be one of those shows that I actually do watch like as soon as it comes out. because I'm a weirdo, the length of time between the show coming out and when I actually watch it shows how good the show actually is in my head. If there's a long span of time, then that show in my head is like really bloody fantastic. And I'm putting it off so that I can watch it for the first time later and not lose that precious experience of like the first time not knowing what's going to happen next. Or it's a show that I have literally no faith in, and I watch it in the first go, and sometimes I'm surprised, and sometimes I'm not.
I'd like to give it, like, the old 3-episode try.
Usually do 3 episodes. Sometimes I do 5, depending on the length of episode.
That's way too long.
Because web series will only be like 15 minutes.
Point.
So if it's like a little itty-bitty type do, like Hell of a Boss, 5 episodes.
Sure.
But if it's like an hour and a half, yeah, that's 3 episodes maybe. If you can't grasp me in 3 hours, that's just a ridiculous amount of time to bore your audience to death.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
But I have Amazon Prime, so I have literally no reason not to.
Yeah, so do we. So
Yeah.
like it's kind of
It's like, oh look, there it is. It's time.
Yep.
So the big question is it going to be worth it to switch or get if you don't already have it?
No way. I'll just say no.
No, man.
If we didn't already have it, like if we weren't already subscribed, I could not care less.
I would just go to someone's house who has it. I mean, there's too many damn streaming services.
Yes.
They've made it really annoying. It's like, does anyone wonder why I'm such a damn pirate? That's why.
Hey now. We do not advocate piracy.
I didn't say advocated it. It's not like I like doing it.
It's a means of survival.
I mean, I actually like feel kind of bad sometimes. I feel like I'm taking from somebody's food. Or,
which you are allegedly.
Allegedly. Not really.
It's
allegedly.
If there was one that just had everything I wanted, I would pay for it.
We're gonna get. I know we are going to get to that.
Google's working on it.
Right,
or Disney.
Right, Disney's also. Disney's
Disney's
working on it.
for
So
it.
now we've got what is it? Like it's like Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN, and something else all bundled together now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, something.
They're the medium. You know what? I'm not going to get into this because it's getting into conspiracy theory territory.
Turn off
I know exactly where you're going.
mouse
I actually
monopoly
think I agree.
road. Not the fun kind of monopoly. By fun monopoly, I mean no monopoly's fun.
Oh, I was just gonna call it robber barons, but you didn't ask me.
Okay, call it that. So that is the end of our podcast, I guess.
Maybe.
Is everybody
I'm satisfied.
I feel good.
I don't have a whole lot to talk about with this one. But the whole point was I wanted everybody else to have a whole lot to talk about.
I could talk for hours.
But
I could talk to a random person at a truck stop, and I just keep doing it. It's weird 'cause
That's why we love you.
it's funny because I actually don't like talking to people outside. Like, obviously, we're fine. We're friends. I know you people. It's cool. But other people, I'm usually like, stay the hell away from me. Stay the hell. And this is before the COVID, you know? Now I have an excuse. Like, hey,
6 feet.
6 feet, buddy. That's me lying on the ground, rolling in a circle. Back off. But like, if somebody does engage me, it's like I don't know what it is. It's almost like someone's customer service mode kicking in. Except I don't do that. Like I'll just be like, "Yo, what up, man?" And like when I'm actually working. But that's what it's like. It's like an automated response. It's like a defense mechanism for me. It's like I'm normal too. Yes.
Well, hey there, fellow human.
Oh, golly gee.
Okay, cool. That's the end of our podcast. We've got nothing more to say. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your friends, sell your soul, leave a comment, do whatever you need to do.
So, which one do you think sounds cooler, Ungoliant or
Ungulant?
Ungoliant? Which one do you think sounds cooler? They have like different cadences. No, I'd be really interested because like some things just sound cooler. Like I don't know.
Also, if you're gonna watch it, that's a good one too. So. Tune in next month where our theme is going to be comic books. And everybody's always got a lot to say on comic books. So stay tuned and we'll see you soon.